Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, your boy, Vulcan Wolverine. Star date is March 20th, 2019. It is approximately 6:18 p.m. Central Time in the Central Zone of the United States of America. Um, I would have done a live stream. Uh, I would have done a live stream, guys, but my live streaming has been revoked. So I've got to get in touch with YouTube. I know I complained about this on my addendum last night, and now it's like the live stream that was I have no copyright strikes, as y'all can see on my screen. No copyright strikes, no community guideline strikes, and yet my ability to live stream has been revoked for that live stream where I played the 15 minute 60 minutes news story. So I want to show y'all, and I guess I'm gonna have to contact YouTube. Your channel's live streaming ability will be automatically disabled for any of the following reasons. Your channel received a community guideline strike, so that didn't happen. Your live stream or archive live stream is blocked globally. I don't think that happened. Your live stream or archive live stream receives a copyright takedown. That's what happened, but I don't have a copyright strike. Your live stream matches another copyrighted live broadcast. I think that's what happened, but I still don't have a copyright strike. And it's not like I thought I would get I thought that I would be not able to do live streams for like last night while they tried to figure out what was going on, and then it would be back tomorrow, but it says revoked, so I'm not sure if I just have to wait, or I need to get in touch with YouTube. But it is I never in a million years, I haven't lived that long, but it's a long time. I never thought that I would lose my live stream privileges for broadcasting a news story. And the really sad thing about this, and I'm kind of suspicious, because I changed the picture of my profile avatar picture on YouTube, and then it's like my whole YouTube setup, when you go in and look at videos, it switched up, so somebody is like changing stuff on my YouTube channel, and I think I'm like being reported and shadow banned and stuff like that. So it's very suspicious, and I know a lot of people will be like, oh, well, it's just a copyright, but it's very bizarre. And the deal is, and I know I talked a lot about this on the addendum, a lot of people did see the live stream, so I'm glad about that, and I'm going to post it on Facebook. Under my Facebook name is Kyle TI, like Kyle space TI. So I'm gonna go ahead and post it on there, but now it's just showing as an upload, and like if you go in my videos, you cannot find that live stream. So apparently they did the same thing. A lot of people got to see it, but then it's like kind of disappeared, so only I can see it on my channel. Maybe you guys can find it in my uploads, but that's what happened when I played those movie clips, and they hid that video. So I don't think people are going to be able to find it, and it was really important information. So if you do want to see that 60 minutes, the whole program about the China consulate workers that were hit with remote microwaves, go to cbs.com, and then just go to the 60 minutes link, and you can find it from what's the 20th, 19th, 18th, so the 17th. And it's just ridiculous, because that information in that news story, like when I am broadcasting that on my channel on a live stream, it is necessary for that story to be transformative for a targeted individual, one of the people out in society. And I don't know, somebody said that other people were showing the video, and their live streams didn't get taken down, but I didn't see that. but it's not only necessary, it's essential that that story be taken and somebody, talk about it who's a targeted individual and say, this is what's happening to many people in society. Because that news story, if somebody that is not a targeted individual and does not understand this watches that news story and they see, okay, oh, these China consulate workers were hit with some kind of remote microwave, or mystery, it's still a mystery or whatever, they're going to say, okay, well, it stops there, and it's just embassy workers, the Cuban embassy workers, the China consulate workers. But it's essential that we connect that to what is happening to hundreds of thousands to millions of people around the world. And we can't get good numbers on how many targeted individuals there are globally, because it's all hidden. The national security of every country testing these weapons and advancing them, and advancing these PSYOP protocols, and basically just taking down people in society. Learning how to Zerzetsung certain personalities, and mess up their families, mess up their family ties, mess up their friendships, and basically take people down in countries. It has to be added onto. So I just find it very ridiculous. I'm sure you guys do too. I don't think it'll be that hard to get my channel back up, but like a 60 minutes, 15-minute thing, it seems very bizarre and suspicious to me. And maybe that comes from being a targeted individual. Maybe it comes from knowing that, YouTube is owned by Google, who, has very large ties to the military-industrial complex, that does not want this information out, because this information is under national security. How it's getting out in the mainstream, it's a miracle. Me and Brock were talking about that last night, and it's just like, thank God. That is such a miracle. But anyway, I'm going to get off of that. I just wanted to show y'all. It's weird because, I started doing live streams. I'm not sure. Maybe it was like half a year ago. I'm not very good with time. It seems like the days just flow together since I'm just surviving. I think a lot of you guys understand that. But at first, when I started doing live streams, I was more comfortable doing videos this way, because I was like, I don't have a lot of energy, and I don't feel like I can interact enough, with the chat room. So I felt more comfortable with this. But then, about 2 months, it may have been further back than 2 months ago, I would just wanted to do live streams, because I'm like, man, I love those guys in the chat room. They're very intelligent, targeted individuals. They bring links. They bring good ideas. They have channels. This is great. So I'd make a video. Like right now, I'm not connected to a chat room, and I feel a little bit naked. I'm not going to take off my shirt. But it just made me feel a lot more comfortable. So it's very interesting how that kind of stuff happens in life, where it's like, a couple months ago, I was like, I don't want to do anything but live streams. At first, I didn't really like it. I was like, I don't have a lot of energy, and I can't give enough attention to people in the chat room. But you guys don't need that. Y'all talk in the chat room. When I am able to come in there, it's great, and y'all really support me. And it really, not being able to do a live stream right now, it just really shows me how much I appreciate you guys. Like, I appreciate you guys to come to my channel, bring links, talk about stuff. I appreciate you more than you can know. And I get some really, really smart, targeted individuals who are like logical and spiritual and empathetic and just great. And it just, I never felt that comfortable, and it gave me more of an incentive to put out information. Being like, oh, I'm gonna have the chat room, and this is fun. It made it fun again for me, because I've been talking about this stuff for so long, and it gets really crazy where it's like, oh man, I know I'm getting information out, but I'm still talking about this stuff, and it really just added, a looking forward to it. Like, this is gonna be fun. I don't know what the chat room's gonna talk about. They're gonna bring some new information, so I just wanted to tell y'all this. And I appreciated it before my live stream went away, and I'm going to get it back. So, I'm not. I'm being a little bit dramatic here, but I really appreciate y'all, and it really just adds such a support thing. And while I don't have my live stream, I'm gonna go through some information. I'm gonna have to be very careful because I could lose my whole channel. If I show something that is copyrighted. YouTube's so weird lately, and they have all these new rules and stuff like that. And it seems like intellectual property, those copyright laws and stuff like that are extremely strict, especially on information like this, where it's mostly about the testimonials of the people that it's happening to. That's what's important to get out there. And it is important. I'm not just showing the video and not saying anything. It's important to put that information out and editorialize and be transformative about it, about that original information in the 60 minutes video, because it has to be connected to a greater global crisis and genocide, torture, Holocaust, genocide, whatever you want to call it, illegal experimentation on citizens globally. It has to be connected to that. So it makes me very, very frustrated. I'll get over it. We'll keep going and putting out information. But I just wanted to kind of let y'all know what was going on. I'm not sure if maybe it'll be back up tomorrow, or I'm gonna have to get in contact with YouTube to get my live stream privileges back. I didn't know it would be such a I didn't know I'd feel it so hard. I'm like, oh, I can't do a live stream. I have to do a video without the chat, without a bunch of the people, the targeted individuals coming in and really supporting me and chatting with them. That just adds a whole other dimension to what we do. I've been talking to Brock or the Badger Report, who I liked. Well, I liked one of he did a live stream last night, and Next did a podcast also, and I like those on my channel, but everything switched up, so I had to it's not the same format, but I do have those in my liked videos, and I've been talking to Brock, and I think pretty soon, me, him, and Corey, or some other people, we're going to do some round tables while I don't have access to my live stream. I'll go and if people want me, if other people who are doing interviews and stuff want me to come on, I'd be really happy to. Definitely. Brock did his awesome live stream and awesome round table last night. I didn't watch the whole thing, it was really long, but I watched like an hour of it. And then I watched a bunch of a lot of Nexus podcasts, and I really like that. He's like somebody will say something that's really cool, and he'll like click a button and it shows like that was awesome, and I really like that. He's a really creative guy, and I think he's like kind of getting used to that, doing the interview and then making the podcast creative and stuff, but it's still great, and I think he's gonna get ever more used to it. And I need to talk to him because I'd love to go on his podcast too. It's really fun what he's doing. He's also selling T-shirts, and I think he has links on the videos for that. But that's one thing I did want to say. Like, I've been praying lately because as I've been putting out information on my videos, I'm like, this is kind of the end of the road for me. Not like the end of the road like I'm going to die, but I'm like, this is kind of my swan song. I'm going to put out information, and I think I'm going to, put out really important stuff, but I'm going to kind of maybe move on to other things or spend more time with my family. I was like, because I just don't have a lot of energy left, or I didn't. But now it's like I see all these people, all these targeted individuals, they're starting to do interviews, they're picking up the pace, they're bringing it to another level, and I was praying to God for that, for something to get me out of my funk and really inspire me. And targeted individuals that are speaking out and doing all this stuff, they're inspiring me. And I'm getting like this, where this is not going to be just me putting out information and doing my own live streams. This is not going to be this swan song to kind of go out and then maybe do other things on. I'm getting really excited, and I want to help them, and I want people to come on and eventually do interviews on my channel on the live stream, like, and that comes directly from the targeted individuals out there who are picking up the pace, and that's it's a big thing, and it's why I make my videos, to inspire y'all to speak out, to inspire other targeted individuals to speak out, and other targeted individuals make videos to inspire other targeted individuals to speak out. And it's very important. It affected me, what people are doing now, what Kevin Christian's doing next, the Badger Report. There's probably tons of targeted individuals who I can't keep up with all the information coming out, that it's like kicking it into overdrive. And then we have this big information about the China consulate attack, so it just seems like all hands on deck. We're gonna crack this dam. We're gonna crack it in a way where we are going to be vindicated in the eyes of the American public. So it's huge. It's huge, and it's really miraculous to see people get together and really spin. I don't want to be crude here, but spin shit into gold. Like Nex was saying on his podcast last night. Take lemons and make lemon drops. Take lemons and make lemon meringue pie and stuff like that. And I really get that, because I see a lot of targeted individuals being very creative. They're survivors. I'm a survivor. You guys watching these videos, we're survivors. So now's the time, guys. It's always been the time, but now the battle is really being met. People are coming out. They're not afraid to speak out, and it's a glorious. How I know this stuff sucks, but it's awesome to see the positive side, and people coming out and speaking out and really just charging at this thing, even though they're in pain, even though you feel like you don't have a lot of energy sometimes, and you're like, oh gosh. And it's just awesome. So I kind of just wanted to say that. I'm going to go through an article, and I'm going to try and I'm going to go through part 2 of the Canadian embassy workers who got hit with remote microwaves. And then I'm going to probably do another video today or tomorrow on part 3, split them up. I don't want to put them all in a long video, because I know a lot of you guys, my average watch time is like, 30 minutes or something, even on 2-hour videos. So I'm going to try and really kind of, an hour or something. It'll probably be long because, my mouth just keeps going. But I'm going to really try and kind of split the information up, so that you'll know you can get an article from this video, an article from this video. You don't have to go through a lot of my babbling and stuff like that in a whole long video for a lot of the information. But once I get my live stream back, and if I go on to some other guys' live stream, we'll probably talk for a couple hours. Okay, before I start with the article, I wanted to say this is another miracle that I've actually taken this stuff before, and it really helped. And this is the Drenamine right here. I think this is like quantity. It's like 360, and I got it for 20 bucks. I'm on like day 4 or 5 of taking 3 a day with meals, and I really feel a lot of extra energy. My body, it's kind of day 2 or whatever, I really wasn't feeling a difference, but it feels like my body's really processing it now. It's in my system, and I feel a lot more energy. So I really, guys, please try this. Please try this supplement, Drenamine, Drenamin. You can get it, it's Standard Process Labs, but you can get it on Amazon. If you're feeling like the fibromyalgia, like your body's just so tired and you feel like you don't have any adrenaline, because that's what my attackers are really focusing on. They're really focusing on just, like last night they've changed up the pulsing pain in my body to where it's like up here. Like, so I've got tightening around my neck that I kept having to toss and turn, just like they were doing at the bottom of my back, but they've moved it up here to these nerves here. But then I wake up, I'll take some supplements, take some kratom, and I get through it. So please, if you're getting that fibromyalgia, like your muscles are just so sore and you feel really tired, try Drenamine. try it, and I guarantee you, within a week, you will feel some extra energy. So I would show the video. But, but I don't want to get a copyright strike or my video taken down. But you know when I don't know if you guys have seen Captain America: Civil War. I think I've told y'all about this. I'm a huge nerd. Y'all know I'm a huge nerd. I didn't have to tell you all that. But the part where he's like fighting Iron Man and he's like, I can do this all day. Like I kind of said that in my head to my attackers today because I'm feeling some energy. You know, I can do this, and I'm not gonna, let my live stream being down stop me or anything like that. Okay, so I babbled on enough. Let's go. I'm gonna go through part 2 of this article of the Canadian embassy workers. And I'll try and title the videos pretty specifically because I know I put out a ton of videos and it's hard to know, where the information's at and where it's just me talking for 20 minutes. Ooh, that's not that bad, right? Okay, so I'm going to go through this real quick, and then either today or tomorrow I'm going to do part 3 and there's a part 4, but I'm going to split them up so you'll know where to go for all the different parts of it. And then just keep on trying to find information, putting the concrete information out there. Okay, one thing I want to add before I get started on this, though, and this is really important because, my mom's talking to me about the 60 Minutes story, and she's pretty much 100% now. Like, she had a little bit of 5% doubt because other family members were like, I think he's mentally ill, this stuff. But this clinched it. This really clinched her in at like 100%. So just remember, guys, when you're talking to your family or loved ones or even on your videos, you don't have to do a lot of guesswork anymore. We don't have to be like, oh, well, I kind of think it's like this, or I kind of think it's like that. You got James Giordano talking about neuroweapons, remote electromagnetic transcranial stimulation. You've got the Cuban embassy attacks with remote microwaves. You've got the China consulate attacks. You got the 60 Minutes show. You got a bunch of news shows and news articles about the Cuban embassy attack. You got a bunch of articles about the China consulate attack. I'd say, if you're trying to let your family or your loved ones, your wife or your husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, mother, father, brother, sister, friends, whatever, trying to let them know about this, a good place to start would be like, hey, please go to CBS.com, go to the 60 Minutes thing and watch March 17th, the March 17th 60 Minutes. Please watch that about the China consulate attacks. We've got some solid information that we can tell our family members and our loved ones, where we don't just have to, because when we're just saying, oh, this is what I'm experiencing, a lot of people, they're like, I don't know how to take that, and that sounds like mental illness and all that stuff. We got a lot of concrete information. So, do it how you want it. I'm not telling any targeted individual how to express themselves and how to talk about this, but just remember there's a lot of concrete information out there. So we don't really have to. I know there's still there's details, that we still have to kind of figure out and get more information and things like that, but just we can go in the right direction on what's happening and who's doing this very concretely and simply. Okay, so let's go through this article. I'm pretty psyched. I'm pretty pumped up. I'm feeling some hope. I've been not hopeless, not like I'm gonna quit or anything recently, but just like, man, are we just gonna have to fight this evil and maybe not win in our lifetimes and leave it to the next generation? I don't know. All kinds of thoughts go through your head with this stuff. It's so big. There's so much money behind it, and they're covering up all these incidents. They're trying to cover up these incidences. Like Canada did not want these embassy workers to get medical treatment because they're also working on these weapons. They don't want other civilians to know about it because there's secret weapons programs and secret torture experiments, torture experimentation, and neurological weapons attacks, manipulating the brain, traumatizing the brain. And it's like, oh, this we're killing people and we're trying to keep it national security, So let's go ahead and start on this. I forgot what point I was trying to make with that last thing. Okay, so Havana, this is from the Ottawa Citizen. I went through part 1 the other day. Havana Syndrome, part 2, how a dog's brain may help solve the mystery of the Canadian diplomat's Cuban nightmare, by Elizabeth Payne, from February 28, 2019. Could a dog's brain offer any clues to the mysterious concussion-like syndrome affecting Canadian and American diplomats who were posted to Cuba? That is one of the many threads being pulled in an effort by researchers and scientists and those affected to better understand the condition referred to as Havana Syndrome, which has been blamed for debilitating some Canadian diplomats and their families. The brains of those diplomats and their spouses are being tested at Dalhousie's Brain Repair Center. Officials there were unavailable for interviews, but one of the diplomats involved told this newspaper that early findings have amazed researchers. Little is known about what could have caused the symptoms shared by some diplomats who were posted in Cuba, although U.S. investigators have ruled out sonic weapons, according to the Washington Post. A doctor who examined some of the Canadian and U.S. diplomats has suggested the damage stems from a microwave weapon. Directed energy weapons, neuro weapons, yes. Microwave weapons, remote microwave weapons. Oh, hold on. Okay. Let me turn down the volume on my TV. My video game music's on. I don't know if y'all can hear that. Okay, still others have suggested the sounds being reported were actually crickets and that the symptoms are psychosomatic or a form of mass hysteria, hypothesis that anger those living with the after effects. Yeah, and angering a lot of us who are living with it day to day out in society, in communities, in every community, in every city, in the United States and other countries. And it's in communities. This isn't some kind of far away thing, that's happening, that's covered up. This is like in all of our communities. People are being hit with remote microwave weapons. And it really does. It's enraging. It's enraging that mass hysteria or crickets or blah, blah, blah. When somebody's being hit with microwave weapons, it feels like they're being hit with something. It feels like pain, like heat. And just to write that off as some kind of new mass hysteria, that's the conspiracy theory. You see, we're dealing with down is up, black is white. What the guy said in the JFK movie. So the actual mainstream line to cover things up, like, oh, people just have this new form of mental illness. These weapons exist, but they're covered by national security, and people say they're being hit with them, so it exists. And it's completely possible, but no, sounds like mental illness is mass hysteria. That's the conspiracy. The conspiracy theory to be laughed at is what the mainstream lie is, which is being cracked open, right? Because I'm always saying this, and remember this, guys. It's not like we're going to be disproven here. There's no way for us to be disproven with something that's really going on in the world, something that's being used more and more every day, and we see it in all these situations, and it's leaking out in the mainstream news. More and more people are being targeted every day. Just remember that if you're afraid to speak out. Because, I get that. I feel that. Like, I'm like, yeah, some people are going to think I'm crazy or whatever, but I really don't care, because it's like, little children are being microwaved to death. And women and men like me, and just everybody. There's lots of people being tortured, to death. So but just remember, this isn't going to be disproven. As days go by, it's how fast is this proven to be happening? How fast will we be vindicated? How fast are we going to get to a place where all citizens know about this, and then some real changes start being made? It's not if. It's not, is this going to happen? Are we going to be disproven? Those aren't the questions. Something that's actually happening in reality. It's just when. When are people not going to... When are the people who are hired to come on, to come on social media and stuff like that and say, you guys are schizophrenics? When do they have to stop? When do people see that and say, wow, they're lying? What's wrong with that person? There's all this information. It's just, when is that going to happen? Not if. It's not if, And we've been working a long time on this for people who've been targeted. Well, even like people targeted for like a year, but some people targeted for 20 years and 10 years. We've been working at this and getting it stopped. And I smell. I guess you can't smell the light at the end of the tunnel, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it may not mean like the destruction of this program and all these people who are involved go to jail. At the beginning, it might not mean that at the beginning of a real solution, but it might mean vindication for us, medical help, people seeing that it's happening and dealing with us seriously and dealing with this problem seriously. That's the start. That's the start. And we'll work on moving forward and getting more as we go along. But what I feel like is like we need to be working on is like people and doctors, psychiatrists, our family members, people in the community who are gang stalking and just have rotted out brains who don't know what they're doing, to stop and say, look, I'm involved in torture and murder. I'm involved in harassing somebody who's being tortured and murdered, and stop that. And the whole gang stalking program really going off the rails because people start realizing, wait, these are innocent people who are being microwaved to death. And then doctors and psychiatrists and our families vindicating us, understanding this is going on, and getting us help every day, making these, I'm just going to say it, motherfuckers who are shooting microwaves at us, putting them on the run so they're like, ooh, people are finding out about this. Then their managers, or however that system works with the contractors and the people above them, handlers or whatever, that they say, okay, this is coming out and we're going to have to wrap this up. We're going to have to be a lot more subtle while we're doing it. We can't hurt these people as much, and then we're going to have to, roll out. We're going to have to stop this stuff. And then we'll go from there. But I want to see those beginnings. I mean, we all want to see those beginnings. I'm not like, I command those beginnings of a solution in the name of Jesus Christ. In like Alex Jones. Did you guys see that the Alex Jones thing when he was like saying he was getting into a fight with Joe Rogan, and he said, Jesus Christ told me to, wait, what did he say? He said, me and Brock were talking about that and just laughing our asses off. Jesus told me to go after you, Joe Rogan, and he opens his eyes really wide. It's so funny. Jesus Christ commanded me to take this program down. Sometimes, like, we were just saying how, like, there's a lot of stuff about Alex Jones you could go into, but the one thing is just, he is very entertaining. Like, he's really entertaining. You can't say he's not entertaining. Even people who don't like him, or people that think maybe he's shilling somewhat, I think that he does, like, I don't want to go into Alex Jones right now, so I may do that on another video. Okay, let me continue, guys. Hold on. Hurry up and wait. Okay. So still, I want to read this again. Still others have suggested the sounds being reported were actually crickets, and that the symptoms are psychosomatic or a form of mass hysteria, hypotheses that anger those living with the after effects. Dr. Michael Hoffer, a professor of otolaryngology and neurological surgery at the University of Miami, who examined 25 people linked to the diplomatic community in Havana, is frustrated by suggestions that the harms done to some of the diplomats are not real. Hoffer was the lead author of a paper that found all of the diplomatic personnel complaining of dizziness, ear pain, and tinnitus suffered from an otolithic abnormality affecting inner ear organs related to balance. Excuse me. And cognitive dysfunction. Let me read that again. So, Hoffer was the lead author of a paper that found all of the diplomatic personnel complaining of dizziness, ear pain, and tinnitus suffered from an otolithic abnormality affecting inner ear organs related to balance, and cognitive dysfunction. Such injuries could result in other symptoms such as cognitive difficulties and exhaustion, he said. Now, I mean, anybody who's watched my videos and heard me talk about the biggest things that I complain about, I know I complain a lot. We have to let people know how bad this is. This is war every day, you know. I complain about memory loss, trouble finding words, and other target individuals that are talking about this, and exhaustion, just being tortured so badly. These frequencies just messing with your brain and your nervous system and the cells in your body, and just making you so tired. It's hard to do anything. It's hard to function. Here's the thing. These people did have an injury. I don't know who injured them. I don't know what injured them. But I am impatient with the fact that a lot of people are saying it was crickets or infectious disease. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Dr. Hoffer. These people did have an injury. I don't know who injured them. Okay, this is that same thing. I don't know what injured them, but I am impatient with the fact that a lot of people are saying it was crickets or an infectious disease. Something happened to them. These findings of the inner ear disorder cannot be faked, he said. It is not hysteria. It is not crickets. The suggestion that the symptoms could be psychosomatic has added to the frustration of affected Canadian diplomats. According to documents obtained through access to information by the National Post, a federal government official suggested early on that the symptoms could be psychosomatic. When contacted by this newspaper, one of those diplomats was wary about people questioning the syndrome. That diplomat, who uses the pseudonym Diplomat Allen, is among 15 Canadian diplomatic staff and their families suffering from Havana syndrome. They are suing the federal government for $28 million, citing lack of support, information, and treatment, among other things. And I'm not going to go into that, but I have really thought about, suing just the U.S. government, not because I don't think the government agencies, they've done it in this way where the DOD is giving contracts out to private contractors, and they're trying to distance it from actual governmental agencies, so they can be like, the government's not doing it, but it's actually like the DOD and then private contractors with agency clearances, with military clearances that are doing it. But suing, I mean, we do need to sue the manufacturers of the weapons and the people actually doing it, the private contractors actually doing it. But I think suing, the United States government too, I don't know, we can't just sue everybody, but for negligence and for not helping us and for letting this stuff go on, senators and congressmen knowing about this stuff and not fighting it and not looking into it because they're scared. They're scared their families will be targeted. I don't know. I'll get into that. We'll talk about that on another video. So he and his family began experiencing mysterious symptoms now associated with the syndrome when they were living in Havana in 2017. Allen and his family left Havana in the fall of 2017 after a series of unexplained events, including a screeching metallic sound in the middle of the night that left them with a variety of symptoms, including nausea, uncontrolled nosebleeds, headaches, and cognitive difficulties. During the summer of 2017, before the family returned to Ottawa, their 3 Shih Tzu dogs were behaving strangely, said Allen. Almost every night, the dogs would run to the corner of their yard, backing onto a house where the American diplomatic staff lived, and bark frantically, for no apparent reason. There was nothing there. The dogs were shipped back to Ottawa after the family returned. One of them, a 7-year-old, subsequently began behaving strangely, suddenly biting at non-existent flies, arching its back and lying on its back and putting its feet in the air. A veterinarian diagnosed seizures and told the family there was something wrong with the dog's brain. The vet recommended the dog be euthanized. That's sick. And many targeted individuals that I've talked to, I'm very surprised that Pepper, she's had problems and she can't hear anymore. So she's had damage from this, but I'm very surprised that my attackers have not done more. But so, a lot of target individuals that I talked to, their animals have been killed by this. And then you got on the 60 Minutes interview, that lady in the China consulate, all of her dogs were affected and got sick. Um, I don't know. Like I get really worried about that sometimes because Pepper is not like my dog. She's not like she's kind of lethargic and she doesn't really show. I don't know. It's like weird. I know that it's hard for a dog to show emotion. Really, well, not really. I mean, she does, but she just like if she is hurting, she'll just kind of act tired and stuff, and she won't really whine a lot. So I really do worry about that a lot. I don't want to talk about that so much. I don't want to jinx it, and I don't want to give my attackers any ideas. I'd like to, Okay, so I'm just gonna go through the article. Um, Allen passed the information to the medical official at Global Affairs, who asked if they could arrange for a necropsy on the dog. The necropsy, similar to an autopsy but performed on an animal, was conducted in Kempville, where the University of Guelph has a campus. Later, Allen and his wife, along with other Canadian diplomats from Havana, traveled to Halifax, where they are being assessed and studied at Dalhousie University's Brain Repair Center. Doctors there obtained a sample of the dog's brain, said Allen. In December, researchers at Dalhousie told Allen they had found something significant in the dog's brain and needed more samples. It could be related, Allen was told. Any links may help fill in the many blanks surrounding the mysterious syndrome. Researchers at Dalhousie are continuing to study the Canadian diplomats and spouses, Allen said, but he has been told they were amazed at what they found through MRIs of the diplomats' brains and other tests. All of us have brain bleeds that we shouldn't have, and our thought processes are slower than people our age, he said. MRIs show bleeds coming from small capillaries in their brains, he said, which are completely different from the control group. For us, this is the concrete evidence we needed that this was real. Canadian diplomats and families have also been diagnosed with vestibular and vision disorders, cognitive disorders, and other issues. And vestibular, you remember, vestibular disorders are like the vestibular region is like all your sensory input, your vision, your hearing, like that. Those parts of the brain and the nervous system running to the brain, that's your vestibular system. So think about remote neural monitoring, how targeted individuals say, hey, they can see through my eyes. That's not what's really happening. They're getting sensory input from your occipital lobe or your visual cortex, which is like where your visuals that have gone through your eyes to your occipital lobe are stored. So and then what you hear. So that's all your vestibular nerves that run to the brain, and those parts of the brain that what's the word that make up your sensory input or whatever. So you think about remote neural monitoring, what they're doing with these neuroweapons. They're trying to get sensory input from us with these frequencies. So the vestibular regions of the brain are probably the most affected, I would say, from remote neural monitoring at least. When they're just hitting with external microwaves, then it's all your body. Okay, where was I? Okay, so I'll read that. Canadian diplomats and their families have also been diagnosed with vestibular and vision disorders, cognitive disorders, and other issues. This is a lot more. It's not fun. This information is not fun, but I just never. It's really making me realize losing my live stream. Privileges, that it's a lot more fun when I have a chat room that I can go back to, and I know people are like in the chat room, and it's more interactive. It's a lot less boring. I get pretty Do I get pretty boring sometimes, guys? I don't know. I just try and get the information out. It's yeah. Let me continue. Let me continue on this. I know I'm not boring. My beard is very not boring. My beard is like a party in the front. what do they say with the what's that hairdo? The oh gosh, it was a funny joke if I could have remembered it. But the hairdo, the what is that? The white trash hairdo. It's like a party in the front and something. Okay, I couldn't remember. Couldn't pull it off. Let's forget what I just did there, and go back into the article, into the serious information. Okay. What is that called? What is that hairdo called? It's the long. It's like short in the front and then long in the back. Mullet. A mullet. Wow. Okay. There's a small sense of relief at seeing some concrete evidence, but for Allen and others, that does little to allay fears about the future. Those with young children are particularly worried about how they might be affected in the long term. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister, Chrystia Freeland, said the affected diplomats have Canada's utmost sympathy and support. Meanwhile, there are more questions than answers about how and why the damage occurred. Were Canadians collateral damage or targets? What kind of weapons were used and why? Daniel Livermore, a former Foreign Service officer who is a senior fellow at Ottawa's Department of Public and Internal Affairs, said there is little more than speculation about the source of the mysterious injuries to diplomats. One is that Havana syndrome resulted from some sort of eavesdropping device gone awry. Another is that the injuries are the result of targeted weapons. That's kind of, both of those things are right, because they're targeting directed energy weapons and neuro weapons, but it is actually the neuro weapons with remote neural monitoring are an eavesdropping device on, I like that term, I'm going to start using it more, the vestibular regions of the nervous system in the brain, because that's what they're tapping into. They're tapping into the frequencies. It's like the resonances that they're sending with the bidirectional stream of energy. You're tapping into the frequencies of the vestibular regions of the brain and the nervous system. That's remote neural monitoring, basically. Basically, I'm sure there's like a much more complicated description of what is exactly going on a neuronal level, but that's a good direction to go in, Okay, so that's the end of part 2, guys. This is the Havana Syndrome Part 1. Why Canadian diplomats have accused their government of abandoning them. Cuba, which has always had good international relations with Canada, is not considered to be behind the attacks, if that is what they were. Are they just showing the Russia and China are both considered possible suspects if there were attacks with weapons? As to what kind of weapons, there are still more questions. I don't know how this is being weaponized, Livermore said, of speculation that the damage was done with microwave weapons. I don't even know what the motivation would be. I don't see a motive, he said. And that's just, I don't know who that guy is. Okay, Daniel Livermore, a former Foreign Service officer who is a senior fellow at Ottawa's Department of Public and International Affairs. Like he would be trying to just cover this up, I suppose. Because for somebody to say there's no motive in advanced weaponry and hitting certain people with it. That's just there's tons of motive. This is the biggest business in the world right now. Like neuro weapons, directed energy weapons, non-lethal weapons, all this development and advancement of them, plus espionage done by Cuban intelligence, Chinese intelligence, Russia intelligence. Russia could have been doing that. Our own government might have been involved in some of those things to make those countries look bad. I don't know, but there's a whole lot of motive here with weapons that confuse everybody. And people say, oh, it's a mystery illness. People all over the world are talking about being hit with microwave weapons, yet the surveillance state can be fed. The false flag can continue on these innocent civilians, and they can just make money hand over fist on advancing these neuro weapons and directed energy weapons, while somebody like me and other targeted individuals speak out on like YouTube and say, look, we're being hit, and people like write comments like, oh, you're mentally ill. There's a lot of motive in that. There's a lot of money in that. There's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of power in that. So to say that's a stupid statement, that's a stupid man. Livermore is a stupid. Okay, that's an opinion. I don't know Mr. Livermore, but he's an idiot because it's stupid to say there's no motive in using advanced weaponry to develop it, to make money off of it, to get Department of Defense contracts, to experiment on citizens without their knowledge, for intelligence agencies to find out some of these diplomats, these Canadian diplomats, American diplomats in China, Cuba, they're not just diplomats. They're like working for other agencies. So these other intelligence agencies in Cuba, they want to know what they're doing there. They want to know if they're just embassy workers. What are their plans for Cuba? You know, the motive is obvious. The motive for all of this is obvious. And I'm sorry. I'm not like getting angry, but I'm just saying like, well, yeah, I'm always angry. It's like the Hulk, in Avengers 1, where Cap is like, I think it'd be a good time to get angry, and Bruce Banner's like, that's the thing, Cap, I'm always angry. Okay, I got off on a nerd tangent, but the deal is that somebody's saying there's no motive for any of this. It's just like not wanting to know. It's not thinking about things. It's not looking and analyzing things. It's either being really, really brainwashed and conditioned to just be like nothing to see here, or it's like not wanting. It's just being not wanting to know it. This is the motivations for advanced weaponry. That's more that's weapons of mass disruption that in some ways are way more dangerous than nuclear weapons. No motive in developing those. No motive in using those to actually find out what's going on in the human brain in certain ways, to find out how to manipulate the human brain in certain ways. No motive for that. Like somebody would say there's no motive for that. You got to question a little bit. You got to question whether or not like they've been hit on the head as a kid, as a little baby, maybe they were dropped or something like that, or that they are actually working for the other side. Nothing to see here, nothing to see here. So all right, that's the last thing I want to add, guys. I'm going to go through part 3 and part 4 on another video because I kind of want to keep these short. Let me go through some of the let me go through these comments and see what's going on, and maybe I will leave a comment. Well, let's see what these two guys say here, and you guys can come to this site, ottawacitizen.com. And then if y'all can get this, I'll put it in the description of the video, and let's all come and comment here. Put our comments in. Yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop it on part. Yeah, that's good. It's about an hour video. Kind of cut up the information to specific articles, so it's not just one long thing where it's hard to find the information. Okay. So Kevy Quinn says, if there was something nefarious going on, why does the USA get a free pass? Canadians were in close proximity to their quarters, and American diplomats were affected too. No other diplomats are reporting similar symptoms, are they? What is he talking about? Because American diplomats they're all talking about it. There's like 24 and more. There's way more than that, because there's Americans that were in certain hotels in Cuba that were getting hit, but nobody would listen to them. People would only listen to the 24 special embassy workers. But there's tons of Americans in Cuba being hit with this stuff. So I'm not sure if he just doesn't know about that. If there was something nefarious going on, why does the USA get a free pass? No, U.S. embassy workers and Canadian embassy workers were hit. Doctors say the symptoms are real, but there's no evidence of physiological changes in the ear that would account for those. And that's wrong, because the article just said there are physiological changes in the vestibular system, there are brain bleeds. I don't know what article this gentleman read. Bizarre. Minor bleeds in the brain could cause varying effects based on their location, or they might have no effect at all. David Lone says, pedantry of the day. Animals do not receive autopsies, they receive necropsies. And that's what the article said. Okay, those were a waste of time. Those comments were a waste of time. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I hope I get my live stream back up soon because I like doing it that way now. I don't even really like doing my videos this way anymore. It feels so empty. Like, I mean, I know I'm getting information out there. Um, it feels a lot different without you guys in the chat room, chatting and bringing in links and stuff like that, so I can go in at the end of the video. Okay, well, I love you guys, and let's keep putting information out there. You know, and these guys doing interviews, you know, like Nex and Kevin Christian and Brock, the Badger Report. Like, you know, try and get in touch with them. You know, don't overload them because I think that, you know, they're being targeted very badly. Hopefully, some other targeted individuals will start doing the same thing. I think what we should do, and me and Brock have been talking about this, and you know, we'll talk to Next and talk to some other TIs, is get some targeted individual channels and do some roundtables, just, you know, 3 or 4 targeted individuals, do some good live stream conversations, going through articles, going through information, discussing this stuff, getting different opinions and sides of the thing. You know, so we're gonna see a lot more of that. I think this is like, I don't wanna jinx it, or I do want to get excited, but it's like I feel a renaissance coming. I feel like we you know, this thing kind of goes like, you know, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 4 steps forward, 2 steps back. I feel like we're getting to where it's like 7 steps forward, 2 steps back. You know, so I feel like we're getting to a renaissance, exponential truth period. So we're going to probably be seeing some more weird stuff from YouTube, you know, like the live stream thing and other stuff, other censorship. We're going to be seeing panic mode from, you know, from these people up higher in the hierarchy, or in the, you know, in the military industrial complex. They're going to really try and clamp down on people, you know, mirroring information, getting information out there, and especially information that they deem, that evil people who want to keep murdering women and children deem national security. You know, they're going to have algorithms and things on YouTube to really hide those videos, shadow ban them, and things like that. But we can beat that. I mean, we're surviving every day something that other people would curl into a little ball and immediately, you know, never go outside again. We are surviving that, and, you know, and more than surviving, you know, we're fighting the good fight. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. I love y'all. I miss the live stream. I miss you guys on chat. Maybe leave a comment if you're usually in live stream, just to say, you don't even have to say, just say hey. But I'll talk to you guys, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Maybe tonight. I don't know. I might try and go to Frank's call. I think Frank has a conference call tonight. Okay, but I'll see you guys on the next one. I love y'all. Just stay strong. If you're feeling like really, really tired, where you cannot function, I know that the pain's a different story. Those are kind of, you need different defenses for that kind of stuff. But, you know, the Adrenaline can help with that too. If you're getting a lot of fibromyalgia and exhaustion, and then it increases the pain and stuff like that, try the Adrenaline, guys. It's cheap. Go to Amazon.com. Make sure you click on Adrenaline and your attackers aren't messing with your computer, because I got folic acid the first time. Like, I think Amazon may have been involved in that weird switch, because I was sure that I ordered Adrenaline. But just make sure you order the right thing. Really try. It really, really does help. I'm feeling a little bit calmer. and a little bit more positive energy kind of climbing up. And I feel like it's going to get better as my system has the Adrenaline in it. And it's just a supplement. It's like, you know, vitamin C is in it, 10%, riboflavin, 80%, niacin, 80%, vitamin B6, 20%, and then it has this proprietary blend. this stuff really works. It's helping me. It's helping me a lot. So I'm hoping to keep this energy. I don't know. I'm like to my attackers right now. This is a brag. Like I'm making this video and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do better. And I'm planning all this stuff. So to them, they're like, oh yeah. They're not saying that on B2K. It's more just the chatterbox stuff, like the woman going, I hate this. I hate this. And then the guy, going, it doesn't matter. We gotta get him out of here and stuff like that. Just the chatterbox rolling on. But I know that the people on my ship, they see it like whenever I'm in a positive mood, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this. I can do this all day. Yeah, the guy just said, get out of there. Get out of there. Which I don't know what that means. Like I guess like they did that in that house that burned down, and I guess it meant like get out of the house, get out of this neighborhood in the psyop thing. But now they say it, and they really should just the guy should just be a little bit more honest and say die, because you can't get like anywhere I go, any house or anything, he's gonna keep saying get out of there. So it's just this psyop thing, to keep you. Oh, I gotta get out of here. It doesn't even affect me anymore. It's annoying as hell. The V2K is still annoying as hell, and it's weird how you adapt to this stuff. It's so weird, but adapt we do, and fight we do, and we keep going. All right, guys, I'm gonna close it out. Yeah, I'm gonna close it out, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's go. Okay, I wanna close it out with a prayer. That made me think I wanna close it out with a prayer. In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. In the name of Jesus Christ, dear Lord, thank you that this information is coming to the surface, so that our families and our friends and good people in all of the countries that we're being targeted in can see this. Please keep that kind of stuff coming, God. Please give us miracles, give us strength to keep fighting this, to keep getting good information out. Just protect every targeted individuals, protect all the targeted individuals doing podcasts and in live streams and getting information out. Please bless that conference in Canada on May 25th. Please bless everything that targeted individuals doing, every protest, every conference, everything that we're doing. Please bless these stones we throw at the giant's forehead. Thank you for our families. Thank you for all the good in the world and all the good people in the world. Thank you for every victory that you've given us, and the strength and the peace that you've given us to get through these insanely hard circumstances. All right, in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ. All right, guys, I'm going to close it out on that, and I'll see you on the next one.